There is a crack running across your driveway. You have been stepping over it for 2 years, and you are starting to wonder if it actually matters.
I have been working on concrete for 30 years, and in about 4 minutes I can tell you whether yours is a $10 problem or a $6,000 one. Usually it is $10 and one afternoon. But there are 3 things you have to check first, because sealing the wrong crack just hides the real problem. Every driveway cracks eventually, so the question was never whether you have one. The question is which kind you have. The first test is width, and a pencil works fine for this. If the crack is narrower than a pencil, that is about 1/4 of an inch, and you can handle it yourself. The second test is the one almost nobody does, and it is the one that matters most. Run your shoe across the crack and feel whether one side sits higher than the other. If both sides are level, your slab is simply cracked. If one side has dropped below the other, your slab is sinking, and that is a completely different problem. The third test is to stand on the concrete right beside the crack and rock your weight back and forth. If that section shifts under you at all, there is an empty space underneath it, because the dirt that used to hold it up has washed away. So here is the whole rule in one line. Flat and narrow means seal it. Wide means fill it first. Uneven or rocking means stop and find out why. Now let me save you from the mistake I see more than any other, because this is probably why your last repair failed. Folks buy a tub of concrete patch or a bag of mortar, trowel it down into the crack, and 6 months later that crack is right back where it started. Here is why that happens. Concrete patch dries hard and stiff, and your driveway does not hold still. A slab swells in the summer heat and shrinks back in the winter cold. And it does that every year. It sits there. So the crack opens and closes a little with the seasons, and anything hard you packed into it gets torn apart all over again. What you actually need is something that stays flexible and stretches along with the slab instead of fighting it. That is polyurethane sealant, which is a rubbery caulk made for concrete, and one tube runs about $10 at any hardware store. For a driveway, get the kind labeled self-leveling. That means it is runny enough to flow down into the crack and settle flat by itself. All right, let me walk you through the actual repair, because there is one step in here that almost everybody skips. Taking the crack out with a wire brush. You want the loose crumbs and dirt gone, and you want it completely dry before anything goes in. Now, here is the skipped step. If your crack is wider than 1/2 inch or deeper than 1 inch, you do not just squirt caulk into it. First, you push in backer rod, which is a foam rope sold in different thicknesses at the same store, usually right beside the caulk. Pick a rod a little fatter than your crack so it wedges in snug. Then press it down about 3/8 of an inch below the surface. Backer rod does 2 jobs. It keeps you from wasting expensive sealant filling a deep hole, and it gives that sealant the right shape to stretch. The shape is the part that matters. A bead that is too deep and too thin tears itself apart, and that is why cracks come back even when people finally bought the right caulk. Then you run the sealant in over the rod and fill to just below the surface of the concrete and let it level itself out. Do not overfill it. Once self-leveling sealant cures, you cannot sand it flat without wrecking it. So coming up a little short is better than going over. While it is still wet, sprinkle dry sand across the top. That matches the rough texture of the rest of your driveway instead of leaving a shiny stripe down it. Then stay off it for 2 to 3 days. A car will squash that sealant flat before it has finished setting up. And be honest with yourself about the result. A good repair seals the crack and protects the slab. It does not make the driveway look brand new. Now, if that crack runs into your garage, or your garage floor has its own, the repair changes. And this is where people grab the wrong product. Your driveway lives outside. It bakes in July, it freezes in January, and it moves all year long, so it needs something rubbery. Your garage floor sits indoors where the temperature barely swings, so it hardly moves at all. That means you can use something rigid in there. And rigid is actually the better choice, because it bonds hard and you can grind it perfectly flush. So for a garage floor crack, reach for a 2-part epoxy repair product instead of the flexible sealant. It cures hard enough to take a car tire and a dropped wrench. And if you ever coat that floor down the road, it sands flat and vanishes under the coating. The prep is identical either way. Wire brush it clean, get it dry, backer rod if it is deep, then fill. Here is when you stop working and start making phone calls. A crack wider than half an inch, one side sitting lower than the other, or a slab that rocks when you stand on it. All three mean the ground underneath your driveway is going, or gone. And sealing the top does absolutely nothing about a hole underneath. One homeowner filmed this exact situation. He got 3 estimates. Tearing out and replacing his sunken pads came in at $6,000, and lifting them back up with foam came in at $2,500.
So that is the whole thing. Check the width, feel for a lip, rock it with your foot, and if it passes all 3, $10 of the right caulk holds for years.
Just do not reach for the hard stuff. That one mistake is why folks end up patching the same crack every other spring. And if this saved you a weekend, go ahead and subscribe. Next time, I am going to show you how to get the oil stains off that same driveway.